Readers Entertainment Radio presents Booklights with your host, author Lisa Kessler. Booklights, where we're shining a light on good books.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into Booklights today. You are in for such a treat. If you have been glued to the Olympics on TV like I have, watching all of the figure skating, you are in for so much fun today because today we have USA Today bestselling author Wendy Walker on, and her book is flying high on Amazon right now. It's called Blade, and it is about figure skating, guys. So be sure that you go grab a copy. And she has written a lot of great thrillers, so there's a lot of backlist for you to binge read. But if you haven't read her yet, I will read her bio here so you can get to know her. Wendy Walker is the USA Today best-selling author of psychological suspense novels All Is Not Forgotten, Emma in the Night Before, Don't Look for Me, What Remains, American Girl, and the Audible original audio play Mad Love. Her novels have been translated into 23 foreign languages, topped bestseller lists both nationally and abroad, and have been optioned for both television and film, so maybe Blade will come to TV. Anyway, Wendy holds degrees from Brown University and Georgetown Law School. Prior to her writing career, Wendy trained for competitive figure skating, worked as a financial analyst at Goldman Sachs, and practiced both corporate and family law. She resides in Connecticut, where she has raised her 3 sons. And if you would like to know more about Wendy, there is a link right in the show notes to her website. Be sure you check it out and grab all of her books. And without any further delay, are you there, Wendy?
I'm here.
All right. Thanks so much for being here. Have you been binge watching the Olympics too?
Oh, yes, of course.
Right.
Yes.
Once figure skating touches your life, you're kind of just in it, even though you're not going to the ice rink anymore, right?
Yes, I watch the nationals every year, and then I watch the Olympics always, and I always have the same, emotional pull to watch every minute of it because it's like still so familiar.
Right. Well, and when you were writing this book, I poked around your website before the interview, full disclosure, and I watched the video of you getting back on the ice. Did this book inspire you? I mean, as you were writing, was it bringing things back and you wanted to get back on the ice?
Yeah, when I was writing it, because it's kind of a look at the darker side of the sport, and so there are a lot of things in there about sort of the trauma that happens to these young skaters from this coach that they have who's not so nice and just living in that very competitive environment. But I knew I needed to capture the joy of skating because I wanted to bring readers into this whole world, not just the darker aspects. And so part of that for me was going back on the ice and just reconnecting with what it felt like to be on those blades and to be, in those boots and moving in ways that you can't move in any other realm. It's just such a unique experience and really so joyful. So that was the inspiration kind of to get back on the ice and then really to start to feel it again, as much as getting the sort of words to describe it for the book.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, while we're talking about the book, can you tell everybody kind of with no spoilers what it's about, why they should go grab a copy?
Yeah, so it's about a young teenage skater who is accused of murdering the assistant coach at her training facility. And the lawyer who comes back to try to save her. And the lawyer was also a skater at the facility. So her backstory and the things that happened to her and why she left and never returned are also woven into the plot. So it's has a great action forward story of this lawyer trying to figure out why this girl is not really telling a story that makes sense, but also being pulled back into the dark secrets that she left there 14 years before.
Oh, it sounds all twisty and turny.
It is, yeah.
Well, what inspired you to write this now? Because you have written a lot of thrillers. So what brought you back to skating?
Well, I had just started working with my agent, who's not new now, but he was new then to me,
Uh-huh.
and we were talking about uh, something to tap into that would be unique and that I could really sort of get my arms around in terms of bringing readers into a unique world. And so figure skating, of course, was one thing in my history that was very unique. And we talked about how to, sort of pull from my own story, um, a fictional story that would, have a really big emotional punch and that would be able to create this world without it being sort of a book about the sport itself and about winning or losing, and also not a sort of a young coming of age story, but something that would be a thriller, a proper thriller with a mystery and a crime and all of that, but in this world of skating.
Okay, I love that. And when you were writing it, I don't know if you're a plotter or a pantser, but did you have any big surprises? I mean, this one is very personal to you. Were there things that happened where, as you're writing, you're like, what?
Um, it was a lot of that. I feel as though my story, because it did not end in a happy way for me. That I was very comfortable with the decision to quit, and I, looking back, have no regrets about that because I went on to, do many, many more things.
Yeah,
And but the experience of having a dream that is your entire identity for your
right.
entire childhood. That was
Hmm.
all I saw in myself, was that I was a competitive figure skater. And having to pivot from that, having to first accept that those dreams are not going to come true, is a lesson
Right.
that is, it's not something that we tell our kids, right? You can be anything you want. Just
Hmm.
work hard. You can do anything
Yeah.
you want. You just go for it, live, work hard, make good choices. The whole world is open to you. And the reality is that many, many, many dreams don't come true. And that was the first lesson for me in that, in that moment when I had to make the decision. So going back to revisit it and all of the sort of elements that led up to me making that decision really got triggered. I mean, I felt like I was
I
living them all
bet.
over again
I bet.
because my character was following. I wanted to have a character who'd had this terrible experience and now had moved forward and was brought back in. It was just part of the plot that I really wanted to have. So I found myself, sort of excavating those feelings that I had, um, to be able to describe them for this character who also left under much darker circumstances than I did, but who also had to leave it behind and forge a new life. So, yeah, there were a lot of moments that were very that brought up a lot of old emotions for sure.
Yeah, do you think that maybe as an adult looking back on it, that you had some healing for your inner child who was like, how come I have to quit?
Yeah, it's, I would say that I had processed it so much over the years that it was like a smooth road. Like I really had processed everything. But going back and looking at all of it as an adult,
Right.
there were some new bumps in the road. And, it's thinking back on the circumstances I was in. I was living away from home. I didn't have really any support system at all.
Right.
And I definitely wove that into the book because I thought that was also kind of a unique experience that I had that wasn't just, any skater at any rink, but this training facility where you can live year round in a dormitory and where there really is no support, emotional support. Uh, that like going back and revisiting that was difficult now that I have raised three children.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like the thought of my children
Sending your
being,
baby off
yeah,
somewhere.
being in that situation. And
Yeah.
I had like a newfound empathy for myself. I had always, I think in the past, looked at myself kind of harshly in that, well, I wasn't good enough. And, um, I let things get away from me and I just wasn't, it just didn't happen and I moved on and that's life. But to go back and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry that that happened to you,"
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're
Uh-huh.
talking to your inner child, like, "I'm really
Yeah.
sorry that happened." It's like, what?
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I was telling you before we came on that my daughter was a competitive figure skater for pretty much all of her life. She started
Yeah,
when she was 4. And as a mom sitting up in the stands, there is so much pressure on these kids. And I don't know, I would think gymnastics is probably the closest to
I
figure
agree.
skating because
Yeah.
it is just this pressure on the kid because your parent is spending this money and this time and all this kind of thing and early on, I had told my daughter, you need to find a reason to skate other than winning a prize because
Oh, that's
skating is
smart.
artistic and sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. And so, luckily, we had come up with these coping mechanisms because she's like, I get to wear makeup. We're like, okay, so every time you get to wear makeup and you won before you even got on the ice, kind of
Right.
thing.
Right.
And
That's smart. Yeah.
going through those feelings of, that some days all they do is fall. And
Yes.
you watch the Olympics and you don't have any idea that there were days that these kids went out there and all they did was fall. They get off the
Yes.
ice soaking wet, shivering, and
Hmm.
some days you're just gonna suck and that's part of the journey. And I think that
Yeah.
that kind of thing isn't something that most kids would experience. Do
Yeah.
you feel like your experience probably helped you in law school and things because skating really teaches you
Yeah.
that
To get
that
up when you fall. Yes.
yeah, over
I
and
mean,
over.
I think what it gave me was perseverance and a
Hmm.
work ethic that now,
Yes.
almost to a fault where, I don't take, it's very hard for me to take time off.
Hmm.
I'm very bad at leisure activities. And it's so ingrained in my identity to work hard.
Hmm.
What I loved about the other chapters of my life was that I could have some control over the outcome
Hmm.
by the amount of work I put in. And with skating, when that stopped, I was not a great
Right.
jumper. So, and jumps were very, very important. They were starting to
Hmm.
become even more important. And when I saw that no matter how hard I tried and worked at these jumps, I wasn't getting them. And you can see it now. I mean, I was just watching the Olympics and
These
watching
quad jumps. I'm like,
watching
what?
yeah, and watching, but even with with the ladies event,
Hmm.
the triple axel is still
Right.
this elusive thing that that only a few of them have.
Right.
And they make up for it with points by doing triples, doing them at the end of the program, doing, things like that. But when I was skating, like if you didn't get these jumps, like you
You
didn't stand
couldn't
a chance.
compete. Right.
And because there were not points given for each move. It was just an overall score. And
Hmm.
so it was even more imperative that you have these jumps because your technical score, you could do like 100 double jumps. And if you couldn't do the double axel and a triple, you just weren't going to match,
Right.
you weren't
Hmm.
going to match the technical scores of your competitors. So I really, for me, like I really enjoyed uh, being able to have some control over the outcome of my pursuit.
Hmm.
And but skating definitely it gave me the perseverance and the work ethic. But I will tell you, when like being a writer is,
Hmm.
I was talking about this the other day on a podcast, how like, I can't believe I ended up, after all of that, being a lawyer, an investment banker, all these things, I ended up back in a profession
Yes.
where it can be the same thing, where you can write the
Hmm.
most amazing book, and for a million other reasons, it won't take off. And it could be
Yes.
absolutely anything, and it's all out of your control, completely out of your
Completely.
control.
Yes.
So I'm like, wait, how did I end up back doing something like this? Because you feel like sometimes you know, and I know so many writers can identify with this, so many authors and aspiring authors that you just keep writing, getting better and better, and learning more and working harder, and if you don't hit the right genre at the right time, or somebody wrote the same,
Exactly.
happened to write about the same book and it sold before yours, or your editor leaves and or whatever it is, like
Right.
sometimes there's even no rhyme or reason to why a book is
No, sometimes
successful.
the internet goes down on release day.
Yes,
You're
right.
like, what
No, it's
happened?
so true.
Yeah.
And now, especially with TikTok and the influence that that has in terms of books and genre, uh, that control just is just so elusive, very much like figure skating. So it's
Yes.
actually been very triggering. I don't think I ever came to terms with that aspect of skating, and
Hmm.
it was the reason that I pursued things that had a clear path to success, that
Right. If you
you
do
have.
this and this, it equals this.
Yes, and if you have to have ability as well. Yes, you have to, have, so
Right.
I mean there were things I knew I was not particularly, great at intellectually, and I followed the ones I was better at. But yeah, it's so strange how similar writing is to skating in that
I
respect.
know.
Oh my gosh.
And you're on this thin blade.
Yes, right. And then so to write about it, it was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a lot.
Do you have like a favorite scene in the book where you were like, yes, this is why I wrote the whole book, if it's not too spoilery?
Wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, I love the last chapter, which is sort
Hmm.
of the the aftermath, and
Hmm.
where all these girls are. I think for me, and I don't want to spoil it, but the last sequence of chapters
Hmm.
where the mystery is revealed, the backstory mystery is revealed, and it goes back and forth very quickly between the chapters, because
Hmm.
the backstory is Anna in the past and the front story is Anna in the present. So when past and present are going back and forth, and for me that was the most fun, that sequence of scenes that are really really quick. I've used that technique in some of my other work. My last Audible original that came out was in October, called The Room Next Door, and I used it there, and I loved it so much because the cadence is matching these sort of emotional, um, you know, um,
The tension is all
tension.
right
Yeah, the
there.
tension
Yes.
and the pacing, and the emotional impact on the characters. It all seems to flow together, and so that, I would say, that sequence, and then the last chapter, my favorite parts.
Oh,
I know,
I love it.
I know I have a good plot when I cannot wait to get to the last sequence of events. Um, and then I'm like, okay, I'm dying to write this. I can't wait to write. I can't, my fingers aren't typing fast enough.
Right.
That's a
And
great
that's when
feeling.
you know that you have a great book for the readers too, because when you are rushing to get,
Yeah, I'm
then
like, I
you
just
know
want to
they
get
will
this
be.
out. Yeah.
Uh-huh, yes, yes, then you know they will be. And in edits they can go, "Hey, how'd they get in the hospital?" "Oh, yeah."
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah. No, there's always going back and like, wait, wait, wait. It's not. No, yes, there's always that moment of, okay, wait, we need to explain this a little bit more. And, but yeah, that sequence was really fun to
Oh,
write.
that's so cool. Well, what's next for you? This isn't a series, right? It's a standalone.
It's a standalone. So I've
Okay.
only written standalones. So yeah, what's next is another novel. I just finished a draft. I'm not sure
Ah.
that we have an exact title, but it is set in wealthy suburbia, but it's a little bit of a different take on that culture and that setting. There's kind of a Romeo and Juliet love story in the backstory, and then there's a forward story where we catch up with the young lovers 10 years later, where the young man is coming out of prison, and
Oh,
the woman is about to marry someone else, and it has to do with a murder that took place when they were and that ended their relationship. Really, was this murder in their town. So it's got it was fun too. I had a lot of fun writing it, and I think it's going to be a surprising and hopefully a little bit of a different take on the culture and setting of wealthy suburbia.
love it. Do you like writing domestic thrillers where it's like regular people, or do you like writing legal thrillers that tap into your background? What's your,
Yeah. I like it. I like both.
okay.
I haven't actually written a proper legal thriller. Blade is definitely not a legal thriller. It has a lawyer, but
Oh,
she
okay.
doesn't really practice any law in it.
Oh, okay.
There's no law being
No
practiced.
trial.
No trial. I mean, there are little testimony excerpts throughout the book just to allow the reader to get some information that they can't get from the other two points of view. But it's really it's about this lawyer trying to piece together this young girl's story over the course of like really 3 days. So
Oh, okay.
there's a snowstorm. It's 3 days. She hasn't even been arrested yet, but she's the most likely suspect, and she needs to figure out what happened and why this girl isn't talking, and who, is she protecting someone? Did she kill this coach? So it's very psychological. What is going on with this young girl? Has she been traumatized? What did she go through at this rink to make her, be in this situation as the prime suspect in the murder? But so it's not a legal thriller. I love I have not written another lawyer, I think that's right.
Oh,
This is
okay.
the only lawyer that I've written. I have written forensic psychologists and cops, and I do, a lot of research for those. I it doesn't to me it's really the story. So it's really about the emotional interior of the characters and what the situation in the book is putting them through. And I think to me, that's more important than having it be domestic or, have it be a
Legal
crime.
or,
That's,
mhm.
yeah, yeah. So they're all different. Most of them do not involve uh, like any kind of formal investigation into a crime. There's only two that kind of have that, and it's not really the driver of the plot. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have one percolating in the back of your head? Are you going to
I
write a legal thriller?
do. Oh, a legal thriller. Do I? I don't know actually. I have, I don't have one right now. I'm going to be writing another Audible original, which is going
Oh,
to
fun.
be a little bit more domestic, I guess. Um, and I haven't started it yet, so I don't know the full plot, but I will be writing that one next and editing the book I just turned in. So I always have like two things going on, my Audible originals and then the other novels that come out in all formats. And it's fun. I love writing in both realms. The Audible originals are a different format. They're audio first, which means
Right.
they have some scripted moments. They have room for some sound effects, some music, and I try to write them in a way that optimizes the listening experience. So
Okay.
yeah, so you
I
and
was
even
wondering if you
yeah,
write them differently, like
I
more
do.
dialogue heavy, if it's going to be an Audible original.
I only write dialogue in the originals if the dialogue is being spoken by an actor who is
Right.
playing that role. So there's not traditional dialogue the way we see it in books in my Audible originals, and it gives them a totally different feel, and it's really really fun to listen to. When I was writing Blade, though, I was very aware of the skills that I've learned writing the Audible originals. So I did include these chapters and we did have them fully scripted. So if you like audiobooks, then Blade is very fun to listen to because you get something that you can't get on the page, which is hearing the voices of all of the characters.
Oh, cool.
Yes, because they all have like these tiny little one-page interviews by a prosecutor um, about the facility, about the crime, and you get to hear their actual voices, which is kind of fun. So they're slightly different. They're so much fun to write. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Oh, that's cool. So the audiobook for Blade has like a big cast of narrators
Yes, it
then.
has.
Ah,
We have 12, yeah, we have 12 cast members. And
wow.
Julia Whalen leads the charge. And she's amazing in Anna in the present day. And then we have a wonderful performer playing who performs the chapters of Anna's past with these three other girls that she skated with. And her name is BB Wood, and she's a great audio performer and also an actress. And then we have these little scripted chapters that are have the prosecutor and then each character. And so it's a full cast. Yeah, it's really fun.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So all the audiobook listeners out there definitely go grab Blade.
Yeah, it's fun.
So do you have events coming up? Are you out there where people can come see you and get you to sign a book?
Yes. So there are some events coming up locally. My full schedule is on my website, wendywalkerbooks.com, and just go to events and you'll see um, the whole schedule of where I'll be. I have things planned all the way through early May, and and some of the stores I've visited in the past should have some signed copies left in stock, so you can check those out. And I also have a list of independent bookstores on my website that are carrying the book. And if you want a signed copy, you can make a request, and I can sign copies through them.
I love that. Is it difficult with a winter book launch when you live in Connecticut?
Yes, in fact, it's very hard to get people to come out, and especially when the
Yeah.
Olympics are on and people are watching every night. So my view really is to just make myself available and to leave signed copies in the places I do go, and to make sure that content is available online, like this wonderful podcast,
Yeah.
so that people, if they want to hear more and they can't get to an event, that they have an opportunity to hear about the book.
I love that. I love that. So, I have to ask, I saw the skating video. Are you still skating?
I've been a bunch of times. I haven't been,
Yay!
yeah, I haven't been in the last couple of weeks because I've been so busy. But yeah, I was just there a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, my daughter, after she stopped skating competitively, she coached for quite a few years
Oh,
and
wow.
she had adult figure skaters. And
Hmm.
she told me that they have so much more fun than kid figure
I'm
skaters. Do you
sure.
think that you
Yes.
might do adult competitive skating sometime?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
You haven't
I
thought that
think
far in
I
advance.
actually it probably sounds strange, but I don't actually like to compete in anything anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm competitive with myself,
Okay.
but I don't even like board games. I put it that way.
Wow.
I'll
Wow.
play Scrabble and things like that, but
Hmm.
I don't, even when I was running, I didn't never entered any kind of races.
Marathon or anything?
Nothing, not even a
Wow.
5K, nothing. I just ran for myself, did a lot of yoga, and yeah, for me, that was the least enjoyable part about figure skating.
Wow. So it really soured you on the whole competing altogether.
I don't know that I ever really enjoyed it, to be honest. I liked to skate, and I liked the accomplishments of learning a new jump, perfecting a new spin, putting together a program, finding music, and being artistic, and all of those things I really, really loved. But I never really had and I like to win, don't get me wrong. Like if I, was put me in a race, I'm going to try to win. And that is part of the problem, that if I put myself in a competitive situation, it's very hard for me to disengage and not try to win. And so I just don't put myself in those situations anymore.
Yeah, I totally get it. Well, thank you so much for being here. If people get excited reading the book, can they find you on social media? Are you
Oh,
everywhere?
yes. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok and YouTube. I have some videos there. And yeah, so I am all over social media and my platforms. You can find all of those on my website. If you can't find me, they're all listed on the website.
Perfect. And I will mention again to all of our longtime listeners, they're probably sick of hearing this, but as an author, I know that you guys think, oh, they're so busy, but please, if you enjoy a book, send them an email or a message on social media or something, because we could be having a down day in the writing cave and you could be responsible for getting us to finish the next chapter.
Yes,
so
exactly. That's exactly right. For sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here, Wendy. It was so great chatting with you. And everyone, go out and grab Blade. It is the perfect reading during the Winter Olympics. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us on Booklights. Be sure to connect with us at www.readersentertainment.com for articles, blogs, videos, and podcasts that matter to readers.